It is Tuesday, and Tuesday is the Tile Happy Hour. The Tile Happy Hour happens every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. We want to talk to you. This is your tile show. We talk about anything and everything in the tile and stone industry. I am here. My name is Craig Cahoon. If you don't know who I am, I'm amazing. I'm awesome. And I am joined by my brother from another mother, John Tedesco, coming in from New York City. John, good evening. How are you, sir?
What's up? Amazing, Craig. You took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to tell you that. You are special. So
yes, special means a lot of different things to a lot of different people.
Yeah.
And, I've been told my whole life I'm special. And so I appreciate you recognizing that. And that specialness is felt here. But I want to talk about the people that are out there, the people that are watching today live. You're special. If you haven't been told that today, you're amazing. And I want to know where you're watching from. I'm hoping you're excited about the tile industry. We have a good time here. It is not just ho-hum making eight. We have fun, don't we, John?
That's right. And if you're out there in Twitterverse or LinkedIn land, hey, I just made that up. Facebook. And also
YouTube is my biggest channel. So, let us know where you're watching from. I can see the counter up there. I can see some people watching live. We're excited about tonight. We're excited to, John, I don't even think you knew what I titled the show, and probably until I released it. But we're going to talk a little bit about how the tile industry or the tile material is, in my opinion, the superhero of all building materials.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. This is really good. Yeah, so this is kind of a little exciting night because we don't have a guest coming on, so we're able to spend time together and talk about tile industry, and it also gives us an opportunity to answer any questions or comments. So let's say hello to our friends out there. So if you are watching, we want to know who you are, where you are, and why you are here.
Absolutely.
Drop us a line. And if you're watching this after it has been broadcasted and watching it on a rewind, whatever you call that, encore, then still comment, because we know that you're out there. We will see the comment, later on, and we'll get back to you. So for sure, reach out. And also, if you are an interesting person in the industry, or you want to recommend an interesting person to be on our show, then let us know. Yeah, we have a whole bunch of inquiries. We really need to go through them and get some guests lined up. We're just so busy during the week.
Everybody's on vacation too. There's a lot of people that are traveling, and you and I both, we talk to industry professionals probably every day.
Absolutely.
And there are a lot of fun people. So we've got a bank of guests that we just haven't been able to organize and get them out there yet. But they're coming. I was just talking. I don't know if you remember, or you were there briefly as I was in New York last week with our Blanquet introduction. And
yeah, that was amazing. Crazy thing was, you were in New York. I'm in New York, but I didn't get to connect you.
We didn't breathe the same air, did we?
No, we didn't. But I did connect with your Zoom and saw the presentation. And tell us a little more about the Blanquet product that's out there.
Yeah, Blanquet is a premier metal edge provider, and we when I say we, I kind of infer Tile Bar. We as Tile Bar had some metal edge trim pieces, but they didn't have a lot of different colors or a lot of different shapes. And
they were really, let's be honest, they were kind of just like, they were just like basic, like what's the Home Depot brand X, whatever they call that stuff.
I don't know if Home Depot carries Schluter. Schluter's the big.
No, I don't mean even Schluter. I mean, like, Home Depot sells stuff, but no matter what, they always have like the basic brand of something, and they just call it basic Home Depot X or something like that.
Aluminum L.
Yeah, and so our Tile Bar's original metal trims were sufficient if we had the right thickness and the right finish.
But
I
now, we're growing
we're
as
elevating.
as a company, and so we needed that line to grow, and we needed more options. So last week, I presented to the company and introduced them to Blanque, who has over I think he said 3,500 SKUs. So there's 3,500, and that's hard to believe. There's even actually 3,500 different
that's
shapes of metal that you can use for a tile installation. But so that was fun, and Christoph was with me, and I've hopefully he's out there listening now. We're trying to work out a schedule. Hopefully he can come on and tell us a little bit more about the history of Blanque. And it was fun to hang out with him and introduce him to our team. We got such a great team. And so that's what I did last week. I also stopped off in New Jersey.
New Jersey.
New Jersey. Jersey.
You're from Jersey? I'm from Jersey.
No, I'm not
hey,
from
mate,
Jersey.
Before you talk about Jersey, and if you skip over Jersey, I don't mind. But Rick Crane probably does. He's probably out there. He's from Jersey, and I can't miss an opportunity to make fun of him because he's in Jersey. No,
well, we got Roberto watching from Australia, so
awesome.
That's pretty amazing. Hey, Roberto, I hope you're doing well.
Roberto Colonetti.
I have no idea if this is evening, morning, whatever, but we're happy to.
I think Australia is 3 days behind.
3 days. I always thought it was like 7 days ahead. I thought they were like in the future. Like it's July 4th already there, but they don't celebrate July 4th. So
Joshua is Josh. I'm just kidding, but
New Jersey too. Roberto says it's 8 a.m. there. Well, good morning. It's Thursday morning.
Yeah.
And good day, mate. I won't try it. I'm sorry. I apologize. But before I get to New Jersey, you were interrupting me. What did you want to tell me?
So I interrupted you for a reason, and I almost forgot why I interrupted you, but now I just remembered. Think about how amazing the metal trim industry has transformed the tile industry.
Oh, I have thought about that, and that sounds sad, but when I started
on Father's Day, that's what you were thinking, right?
Yeah. Well, but as you know, when I started in the tile business I know it was like 50 years after you started in the tile business.
Yes.
But when I started in the tile business, the big thing in the commercial world was Dow tile 4 1/4, right? You know, that was all the wall tile you ever needed. You could get it from a Dow tile 4 1/4. And do you remember what the trim number part was?
Well, 2x6 trim was S4269, a 4x4 flush bullnose was S4449, and out corner was SN.
SC.
Contrary, you would think that the N would be in, but it's not. Quarter round around the tub is the A105, I believe. I got the numbers.
You got it, and the base is A3401, and then your
that's
corners
a 3
are SCR and L3401.
We're freaking geeks. So A3401 is rectangular, right?
Correct.
A4401 would have been a 4x4, I believe, flat top cove.
Yeah, and so,
and guess what?
What's that?
We could just be making this up, and we sound really confident.
No, there's people out there that'll spot check us. I guarantee you, if we're wrong, I know some of my contractor friends that will rag me, and I don't know why these numbers stick in your head, but they do.
I haven't sold them in decades, though. I mean, I had no need to use those products.
Absolutely not. DK 325 is some 2x2.
What's that?
DK 325 is a 2 inch by 2 inch
unglazed porcelain.
Unglazed porcelain in the color marble. You know, Brandon Kirkland, if you're out there, shout out to Brandon, because he was my original Dow tile rep back in 2000. But as I was saying,
I guess we can't avoid Jersey, right? No,
tiles were produced with trim.
Yeah,
and I know and tell me why they that has faded off.
Well, first place, I was a big importer of Italian tile in my family's tile business. So we did sell Dow tile. We did sell U.S. ceramic throughout the
American
years.
Oleum before they combined.
American Oleum, exactly. And so trim was important because in commercial projects, it's really important, and it's still important to have all the right trims to meet sanitary codes and all that stuff. And that still exists. But
Correct.
in Europe, let's say where the tile industry is super hot and originated
Ahead of us.
ahead of us, that's what I'm looking for. So Italy and Spain, they often bring tile all the way up to the ceiling. They're not doing tile halfway up.
Right.
So they really didn't have much need, but they also had better skills than us because they were able to miter a tile. They called it, in Italian, they call it a jolly, Jolly. And they would miter the back of the tile on a 45-degree on a wet saw, but to the point where you don't touch the glaze. You just, cut the back of it off on a 45-degree angle. So you have an outside corner, you can deal with it. If you're going up to the ceiling, you don't need it. And then I don't know where, I mean, everyone knows Schluter is kind of like Frigidaire is for refrigerator.
Right.
And,
but your answer, I'm going to stop you right there. Your answer was not what I was wanting for an answer.
Okay.
Gosh. Trim is more expensive to make than flat tile.
Okay.
I don't know if you ever went to one of the old Dow tile wall tile factories, but even when I started in the business, this is probably 2005, 2006. They were still making all of the trim with hand presses.
Oh, okay.
So they were making them one at a time, wham, wham. And so they just didn't cost out. And then, as you were saying, Schluter came along and said, hey, you don't need these expensive pieces of trim. I've got this bent metal. And there's a great story, and I'm not going to tell it today in hopes that we can tell it with a metal edge professional one day. But Schluter was the one that kind of said, well, let's just finish the trim off with a piece of aluminum. And that's what they did. And now it is, except for, I would say, and you know this more than I do, probably in the higher end installations, they probably don't use metal as much. Maybe it's a stone trim or something like that. But,
well, it depends on the look. If you're doing an
Right.
industrial look or like a cement porcelain that looks like cement, or it's very acceptable and often used, but it's very non-discreet. I would much rather a metal trim, even in a super high-end bath with the right, trim finish and color, than a bullnose or a cap that doesn't match. Because as you mentioned before, they're mass producing the tile. Well, you said they were hand making the bullnose, which means the field tile wasn't made at the same time as the
shading
tile.
was always an issue.
Shading is always, and to this day, and now the real big companies pretty much have it down to a science.
Yeah. They've got the recipe, the magic recipe.
But when I used to import my own and stock material, I cannot tell you the thousands and thousands of dollars of trim I would throw out constantly, because when you buy, I was the buyer. So I would order containers from Italy of a wall tile. Okay, how much square feet of wall tile? I'd figure out, okay, a bathroom is 220 feet, right? A floor is 35 feet. Bullnose, we need, 35 running feet around the room. And I had to figure out, and also decos, how many flowers. Back then, flowers were important. Or
big deal. And that's nice. Granny wanted the flowers around her.
Yeah.
And that was the thing. And then when porcelain tiles became popular, it was very expensive. I remember in inflation, I don't know what it would be today, but I remember some brands of porcelain to have a cove base, it was $6 to $15 a piece.
Yeah, like
for just one piece. And in a commercial job, you had to have it. And these metal edge trims came in and they filled that. You can get a metal cove, you can get a metal this, and there must be money in it because, as you know, we just saw in coverings, Laticrete just started their own metal trim.
Well, it's interesting. If you were in that world, and I was in that world, selling a project with tile, it was never some of the contractors that were somewhat novice or new at it, they wouldn't necessarily analyze the cost of the trim. So they'd place an order, they get a job. Now all of a sudden they need like 1,200 linear feet of a cove base at 12. Next thing you know, it's like $4,000 more of trim, and they so it was like, it's like selling them the Atari, but don't tell them how much the tapes cost.
Right.
So
I remember as a VE option, often I would offer, hey, listen, instead of a cove base, let's just do a cut piece of tile, and it would be a great VE option. Roberto had a good comment. He said the system is saying relocate the veining like a full body porcelain. Metal is good for a commercial job. We used to use metal a lot on commercial jobs.
Yeah.
I got a funny story for you. You ready?
All right. Yeah.
All right. So, I'm a nerd, not necessarily just about tile, but about all things.
Just overall in life.
Overall in life.
Hard to believe, but I'm going to try to visualize that.
So as you and I, we're marketers, and I think we're trying to innovate the tile world just as our company Tile Bar is doing. I do a lot of research on video stuff and YouTube stuff. Well, I was working today, and a lot of times I instead of having music in the background, I'll have a podcast or something. Well, I listen to these guys. It's called vidIQ. If you've ever heard of them, I'll give them a shout out. They're great on how to, get your videos in front of the people you want to see them. And the video, we want people in the tile industry to see our video. So just by chance, I submitted my YouTube channel. Well, today, live on the air, they pulled up my YouTube channel and criticized it, which was really cool and really fun. Rob is kind of one of the head guys over there, and he gave me some critique, which I was appreciative of it. And he said, "Now that can't be right. They can't do a podcast about tile." And I started laughing. I was excited because I was taking notes because I'm on the air live, or they're looking at it, I was like, that's offensive. Why can't we do? They do podcasts about everything. Rob at vidIQ calling you out. Why can't we do podcasts about tile?
That's violence. That's violence. Tile. That's violence towards us.
I think that's some sort of copyright. But I thought that was funny. I was like, well, number one, John will believe I'm listening to a podcast about how to make our podcast better.
That's awesome.
Everybody would believe that. And then the luck of the draw, they pull my page up, and then they say, pretty much what my wife says every time I get off the air with you is, I can't believe y'all can talk about tile for an hour.
Well, actually, have you heard of Clubhouse?
The Twitter, is that
no,
Twitter
Clubhouse?
space?
It's the audio like platform where everyone's just talking to each other in rooms. It's super big.
Isn't that similar to what the new Twitter thing is?
Maybe. So I got in early in the Clubhouse, and you had to get like an invite from somebody, and there's all sorts of channels and rooms, conversations going on, and literally, and maybe it's about a year now, and I got so consumed with it, in the course of like less than a month, I literally shut down. I haven't opened it up in like 6 months because it really was so overwhelming. There was just chats about everything. I even started the channel, the Interior Design Network, and I got hundreds of followers. And the reason I made me think of it is they had like a room where they analyze your social media, and they would go in, they'd look at it, and they,
it's overwhelming. And that is one of the things I have to self check myself, is I can get into that thing where I want to do something better, and I'll just research it to death. And it's like, just do it. Sometimes and that's, I'm so thankful for you. And we just said, hey, I don't know, I've never done a podcast before, but let's do it. And we did, and here we are. And it is not our podcast, it's your podcast. So I look forward as we grow and our numbers grow every week. And so thankful for the Coverings show having us on there, and the guests that we've had, Ron and Jeremy, Laticrete and Tile Bar, and I know I'm missing somebody, and the guests that are to come. I mean, the whole goal this is my family motto, is we leave it better than we found it. So every day we just try to get better and try to do better. And so that's what it's all about.
Isn't that the Boy Scouts motto?
I'm not sure. I wasn't a Boy Scout.
In reference to campsites, that's the motto.
And that's probably where I got it. Leave it better than you found it. Because I know I don't look like I've camped very much lately, but I have camped and hiked in some time.
You look like you camped and then somebody left you there for a week by accident, and you were traumatized. Maybe that.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what. But you were going to tell me about today. I mean, today's June 20th, 2023.
Episode number, I'm not counting.
Episode number 16.
Love it. Yeah. Yeah, this is a great platform. I love chatting with you. I do appreciate you as well. I appreciate our guests. If there's anyone out there that hasn't chimed in yet, we'd love to hear from you. You know what we need to do, Craig? We need to look into getting this. I don't know. Are you considered that you made it if your podcast is on like Spotify or Apple? I don't know.
I have no idea. I know that we are a podcast on YouTube. Now, YouTube has a whole podcast section.
Okay.
And I have set up both our channels that this podcast goes into that. So yeah, you can listen to, you don't have to look at us, which, you know, is probably good for some people. Thomas Holt, hello from Florida, my good friend. Good to see you. You could actually just listen to us, which is, you know, I mean, that's nuts. But hey, tell me, other than it being July 20th, what was today?
Today is National. There's many. Every day has like
it's
many
like
national days. Well, the one that's stuck in my mind today is National Productivity Day, and today is the day to learn new ways to be productive.
So I should have taken a nap today, is what you're saying.
It's 8:20 p.m., so I still have a few more hours to figure that out, and I'll get to it. But there's also National, what is it, Vanilla Milkshake Day? Is that it?
Yes, National Vanilla Milkshake Day, and I have in my Leroy Yeti special made vanilla milkshake.
You do
from my wife.
Wow, that is really nice. I just have some whiskey and well, every day is National Jack Daniel's Day.
That's true. And Thomas, you're right. That what he was talking about, the cork miter, where you don't actually go all the way to the edge. You leave a little bit to be desired. And that, I mean, we used to do that a ton on stonework. So you'd leave, if you're cork mitering a 2 centimeter piece of stone, 3 centimeter piece of stone, you'd leave a reveal in there, which leaves you a little bit of room for.
Doesn't it leave like a little rectangular gap, like a
square?
Square.
Square. I guess it could be rectangular, depending on how good your cut is.
But is that so if you're doing like an apron, right, on something, and you're cutting, you can do a cork miter.
Yeah.
But is it an aesthetic thing or is it a technical thing? What is it accomplishing?
It's more technical than it is aesthetic. I like the way it looks, but if you cut a 45 all the way to the edge,
it gets pointy, right?
It gets pointy, and that pointy can get crumbly because you lose a little bit of structure. But if you leave a little bit of meat there, and Tom Holt, I know you were taught, or not taught, but Ward Goddard taught me that, and Tom, you know who that is, and we miss Ward. He taught me the technical things. Got my career started. But yeah, cork miter, and that's a great way. It's, you know, in the stone industry, you use it a lot.
Who's the Blanke representative that was at the
his name is Christoph, and call him Chris or Christoph, but he is the VP of operations.
Cool.
From he's from Germany, but he's the VP of operations in USA. So Blanke USA is him, and he's down in Atlanta. And what's so crazy, you know, when I came on here, I wanted to, that was one of the things I wanted to do. And just getting my feet under me. I have been talking, he's a patient man. I've been talking to him for over 30 months, trying to get that line launched for us and get it out there. So,
well, it's a lot of look, they have, I know that from the Tile Bar perspective, there's a stocking program.
Yep.
Products that are on our website getting loaded onto our website. But then from a specification point of view, our external team has access to, you know, the full Blanke product line. So if we're working on a hotel or some kind of hospitality project, commercial office building or whatever, sometimes they have some funky requirements, funky needs. Do they have the product with like lighting built into it, like channels and lighting? And
I don't think so. Not that I saw. I mean, they got a lot of cool stuff. Some of the things that I sent to the team was they'll help you write the spec. But the coolest thing he had and Steve Gerwitz has it, and it's probably going to be in your showroom,
Yeah.
is they can coat any of their stainless steel trims in 24 karat gold.
I thought you were going to say any color, but 24 karat gold.
24 karat gold. They have a 24 karat gold, they have a rose gold, and a titanium. And
wow.
I noticed
he
didn't
New York collection or something.
No, the New York collection is just another collection of colors. This is a special order thing for that one customer that
only
wants
some particular customers in Brooklyn are gonna want that gold.
That wants what nobody else has.
Wow.
And I thought it was funny because he shipped me the samples, but he brought this one with him. It was in his backpack. It's 24 karat gold. Well, he was kind enough to leave it with Steve to take to the New York showroom.
Wow.
Because I do believe
expensive.
I do believe that that you will sell some. Yeah, I think each stick varies in price depending on the price of gold. But he said last time they special ordered some, it was roughly around $700 a stick.
And stick, you mean 8 foot?
8 foot. 8 foot. A lot of question or a lot of talk in the comments about the quark miter. Maybe we should get more detailed in the thing. But yes, yeah. Roberto, if you mix the right color of glue, absolutely. Absolutely, you can't see it. It'll blend right in. We used to use a Kimi if you wanted it to be a hard joint, but a lot of times you need it to be a soft joint, so you use a silicone.
That Akimi stuff is amazing. Have you ever had an Akimi? I used to own my own marble shop, and God forbid the guys would like leave a piece of Akimi like sticking out, like from a spatula to a point, and then it dries. You can stab that stuff
like a shank.
Yeah, that stuff is brutal.
Yeah,
you know what? You could probably like smuggle that into jails, and they
can make
your own you make your own weapons. You know.
You probably could, but yes, Tom, you're right. Sluter is the big ones that get the specs, but I have, obviously doing this a while. Most of the time, the architects and engineers, designers, as long as it's a metal trim that's the shape they want, they don't have a ton of problems switching that out.
No,
but our goal is to get it spec'd on the front end. Thanks, Tom.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like setting material, right? If there's more than one really good brand out there. Laticrete is a great brand. There's others. If you have the right, I don't know if that's the best example, but a porcelain tile that looks like marble, many companies make the same type of product, and sometimes, and the trim is such a small part of the job, aesthetically. So long as it has the same qualities, I don't think anybody, Schluter just has the leg up because they're known, what do they call it, generically, right? People say,
they've got that brand name, kind of like Xerox used to be, or
let's date ourselves, mimeograph.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, I there was a very special reason that I named the superhero of thing. I was going, whether you know it or not, when I left New York this week, my wife came with me. She's a teacher, so she looks for a chance to get away from us, or get away from the kids and stuff, and have some time. And then last year I bored her to death at my training, so she actually stayed in the hotel room this time and did some planning. And when we left, we went to Philadelphia. We'd never been to Philadelphia, and I love history, and I think in the 11 to 12 hours we were on the ground in the city, we did anything and everything that you can do in Philadelphia. So I feel like I've done it all. The answer is Benjamin Franklin. He is the answer to every question.
That's cool. I'm thinking,
but as I was
Rocky
Balboa. Yes, Rocky Balboa. Yes, we saw him. But I was thinking about, and we walked into this building right here, which is the I don't know how you say that, the Bourse building.
Yeah, I think so.
And I love the architecture. I love taking pictures, so I took a ton of pictures. I'm sorry that this didn't fill up the whole screen. But this building was built. It was the first commodities exchange. You can see that in 1895.
Wow, it's amazing.
We walk in the building, and what do we see?
What kind of commodities were they selling back then? Were they
I'm sure iPads, I think, were the number one commodity. But I walk into the building, and this is what I see.
Oh, wow.
And
So that looks like two different types of.
well, what has happened, and this is here
is
is
that a repair? Is that a repair?
It is a repair, and I'm familiar with this because I did this exact same repair, but I did it a different way. This tile is over 100 years old.
Wow.
And so I was my wife and I were talking about it because I'm a tile nerd, and think about this is a fail. Well, crap. It lasted 100 years. It's not a fail. It's amazing.
It's a success.
It's a success.
If that was carpet.
And even the patch, which the patch was a cement material that
like
they flashed over and then they painted it.
Oh, I see. Cool. Well, so up top, it looks like is that like a dental pattern, dental molding? What do they call that? The top pattern.
I don't know what
they call it, a dental molding. That
I think
looks
so.
like teeth. And then that's a kind of a stylized Greek key, I guess, right?
Yeah. But what is so cool is when this was installed without thinset. It was installed without all the modern things that we do today.
Weedy board under there.
No Weedy board under there. There's no Laticrete in that. But and I don't know back in the day, even if they face mounted this, on paper like they do today, it's a possibility it could have been installed one at a time.
I think it's likely that it was.
I think so too.
Yeah, it's a good question.
And you think, just think of how many feet. We did a tour of the prison, and do you know who famously was imprisoned in the Eastern State Penitentiary in 1923? Yes, Al Capone.
Wow.
How cool would it be to think that his feet walked across this tile?
Now you're getting really geeky.
But this tile has lasted for over 100 years.
Yeah. No, really. What kind of building materials last on a floor? I was kidding about carpet, but I wasn't kidding. Not kidding. Carpet, wood. Wood. I guess maybe to some degree could, but this is with no maintenance for the most part. The stuff would hold up.
Yeah.
Vinyl, didn't exist back
then.
I
could put this in the corner, but I can't.
Wow.
But there's a local college, university here. Some people probably heard of it. It's called Duke University. It's been around forever. Well, they had a pool that was made with the exact same tile.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And this is how when I saw this tile, now I don't know the manufacturer. I don't know any of that. It was probably not Dow Tile. I don't think they were around then.
There's a good chance that was made in New York. There was a lot of those facilities in New York.
Really?
Yeah.
But what dates the tile is when you look at it, you can see it's not like the normal mosaic that you buy today. It is very square. It has a square edge, so there's no cushioned edge. There was hardly, and the only time there's stuff in between it is when it's cracked.
Right.
When it was correct, it was still grouted, but it was very, very tight grout joints, and all that kind of held it all together. And that's just the miracle of Portland cement, because really that's all of the glue that there was. And correct me if I'm wrong, but it was just Portland cement, maybe some lime. But that tile was made that way, and the Duke pool, and I wish I could find pictures of it, was very similar to that, except it was all white. But yet, how an Olympic-sized pool has the lane lines and all that stuff.
Right.
Well, it had started to deteriorate the same way. And
but the pool cavity was tile or just the water line?
Whole cavity, the tile, right. The water line, the deck into the showers. The showers had been renovated at some other time, but they didn't want to do the deck. But you could tell the whole bowl of the pool was shifting and cracking. Oh. And so that was kind of radiating from there. So
not to do with the tile, it was just to build the building. Was
absolutely moving. Yeah, it had nothing to do with the tile. It was just the building and the substrate. And so the contractor came in there, dug out from under the pool, stabilized the pool. We ordered, and at that time, Dow Tile would special make the tile to look exactly like that tile in the 20s.
That's
And
cool.
we restored it to get it to back to where the way it looked when it was built in the early 20s. And I thought that, this tile here that was been sitting there, and I'm so thankful. I mean, I didn't take a picture. This was like a food hall now, which are very popular, but I was so
Right.
thankful that they did not tear this out, cover it up. Even though the patch that they're doing on it is kind of hokey pokey, but at least they preserved what they could.
I think they did a good job with the patch. And you know what? I feel there's probably a lot of books out there. I haven't seen them, but of just tiles. I think you should make a book, just like historic, just photo book.
I love it. Yeah, that's a great idea. I've got to.
New York City subways. Now, there definitely exists books on tiles in New York City subway system, but I think there's room for a lot more. Although I believe there's a law in the books that you can't photograph, you can't, technically, you can't jaywalk. I don't think you could just go and start photographing stuff. You have to get permission, but there's so many stories to be told and the history of tiles, and there's definitely books on this. I've kind of come across a few. I don't own any. I did own one once. I have to look for it, but now they've done a lot of new subway major line expansions, and they employ tile and glass and mosaics. I mean, just incredible murals. It's really I think it's the go-to medium for, public transit would be in New York for sure, and probably elsewhere, tile, because it's durable. Think about the fumes, and think about the, damp conditions and the cold conditions and the hot conditions. It's kind of like a superhero.
That's what I said. Roberto, you asked if that was a good job. I'm not sure if that's what you meant. I'd say that was an excellent job.
Yeah. So that wasn't your fail, was it, for the week?
No, that was not my fail. I do have a fail. And Thomas just confirmed, that's how we used to do shower beds.
Right.
That's about the same process. And yes.
So I know that you struggled to find a fail because you can't find any out there in the world. My fails find me, as I say every week, is my fails find me. And this week they found me, and I would and was
Roberto,
Tile Bar's headquarters when you were visiting?
It was not at Tile Bar headquarters. Okay. The patch is horrible, Roberto. But here is the fail for this week.
All right, let's check it out.
I'm doing it differently, so let's see if
let's see. Wow.
I don't know. It started almost in the middle of the thing, but that was at our hotel.
What happened to that? What the heck? That was I didn't even know what I was looking at.
Crazy about it is all of the walkways in this hotel were all what is the brown color stone that looks like Neuromarquina, but it's not. It's brown.
Dark Imperador?
Is it? Yes, Dark Imperador. It was all Dark Imperador, and it was, you could tell it was older. This was hotel was in need of a renovation.
Right.
You're right, Tom. The Rocks did it.
Yeah, it's what they call a cozy hotel.
It's a cozy hotel. Yeah. So they had all these curves that were cut into the stonework.
Oh, and that was easy to design on paper.
Yeah, easy to design on paper. And the curves led into these faux flower beds, which, as Tom says, yes, had the rocks in there. Well, what they did is they cut the curves off of the actual concrete. So in some places, the tile was sticking over the concrete 3 or 4 inches. And I was like, who thought this would work? Because, the minute a suitcase rolls across it, something, somebody steps on it wrong for too long, it's going to break. I mean, that Emperador Dark is not very strong. And it's not like the aluminum metal edge is going to hold it in there. And I just kept thinking to myself, Tom, you tell me if I'm right. That's probably an okay way to do it, but they should have then backfilled it with mud to give it some structure. But they never did. That
was one of the worst fails I've seen you. That was nasty.
Yeah,
I'm going to challenge you actually. Let's say at the end of the year.
Okay.
I want it. This an oxymoron. I want to see your best fails.
The best of the fails.
Top 10 best fails.
Yeah.
So start compiling it. I vote this should be a contender. That was.
And what was crazy is, that when we were walking to have dinner that night, that situation was happening in probably 10 to 15 places throughout the entire lobby. It was not just that, where the new guy did it. It was the entire lobby. And they actually was bad enough where they actually had to have cones around it because it was a trip.
Oh my God. Well, you know what I say, there's an easy fix for that. It's called a
buy more tile.
Yeah.
Sledgehammer, buy more tile. Buy
so bad.
More tile. That was bad. That was bad. But hey, if you're out there listening live, send me your bad tile jobs. I love looking at them. I like tearing them apart. I use them as teaching tools to try to teach the next generation of tile nerds, what not to do. And
we're getting votes already.
We're getting votes already?
Yes.
Oh.
Joshua said he votes for that as being one of the
on the rail. And Tom, I'm picking on you because you're the only installer I see up here. But yeah, give it a feel to give it a chance. That's a good one. Give it a feel to give it a chance. Thanks, Tom. But yeah, and that sometimes it's just, you got to think through it. I mean, nobody wants to cut curves like that, but
wait, you know what? Let's just for a moment. What really drives me crazy is that whoever designed it, whoever spec'd it, whoever installed it, it just kills me that somebody accepted that. Like, it just, in the end of the day, someone has to come in, the owner, the person who's paying the bill, and saying, this is just not right.
Well, give them the benefit of the doubt. Who knows what was installed? I guarantee you those rocks that you saw in the picture, they were not original. So it could have been it butted up to grass, and maybe they had grass in there, or foliage, or maybe there was some mulch that actually came out above it to, then people wouldn't walk on it. But still, as an installer, you have a responsibility to point out these things and say, hey, this isn't going to work. If it's not buildable, you need to say it's not buildable before, once you figure that out. And then
if you're a heart surgeon and someone's handing you like a transplant and there's a problem, you got to like speak up. You go, okay, I don't think this is going to work. we need the right parts here. We need the right,
exactly.
This is not.
And then the right thing to do as the installer also is, man, it wouldn't have taken another day of labor to just plan out your cuts better, or either backfill it or do something.
You know what? I think I know the company that did that. It's called Low Bidder, LLC. I mean, that it could be the owner's fault. Like, think about it. It could be not deserved, but could be a byproduct of getting as someone said, Roberto said, it could be a company without knowledge. But just sad. It's just sad because money was spent and needs to be respent, and it was just a lost opportunity to do that. Hey, really important. Did you get Philly cheesesteak? Say yes.
Yes, I did.
Oh,
I did.
I did. Really got to be upset if you didn't.
Yeah, that was one of my goals. I did get a Philly cheesesteak, and we ate. I had.
Did you go to like a famous one, or you just like found one on the corner?
I went to Arby's. Is that a big one?
That's bad.
No. Shout out to Stephen Wallace. His brother lives near there. He sent me a long list of things to see. And so I went to Reading Station.
Okay, I've heard of that.
and they have a food hall there, and I had cheesesteak at Reading Station. Did not realize that all of the utilities on the Monopoly game are from Philadelphia.
Oh, okay.
Reading Railroad.
Reading Railroad. Oh, cool.
Waterworks. I can't
Very
remember the other
cool.
ones. Pennsylvania Railroad, I think one of them. But all
Beano.
those, all the streets are from New York, where you're from. But all of the utilities and stuff like that are
I
Yeah.
learned something today. My life is almost complete.
almost complete. But yeah,
wait,
it-
wait.
great.
Philly cheesesteak. Did you get cheese whiz or did you get real cheese?
I have no idea. She asked me how I wanted it. I said I
Did you
want
get
it.
white cheese or yellow cheese?
I think it was white.
Yeah, that's the authentic way of doing it.
That's
I'm
what I
okay
told
with
her. I
white.
said I want it as a.
Give it me how you do it. Like she dropped it on
That's
the
right. I
floor.
want it
picked
as a
up.
Philadelphia person. And my wife said I'll have chicken salad.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She doesn't something
I-
about the cheesesteak. She
They were
doesn't do.
offended. They were offended that she ordered. peanut
They
butter-
didn't seem
peanut
like they were
butter and
offended
jelly.
by anything.
I have a story. I had a lady friend once that I brought to this Italian deli. We were going out somewhere on a day trip, and
Okay.
this Italian deli. The guy's name was Guido. Like he knew
Of
my
course.
father. Like you go there and you get a prosciutto and you get provolone and you get roasted red peppers and you get little olive oil and vinegar on a sandwich. And I order something for me, right? And then she looks at him and says, "Can I have a turkey on white bread?" We broke his heart.
Oh,
Oh no, on wheat bread, yeah. And he just broke his heart. And he walked around the counter slowly to like the Wonder Bread section. He pulled out the loaf of wheat bread that nobody ordered that day.
yeah, that's right.
Brought it behind the
Yeah.
counter, took out the twist. I saw a tear, I think, coming down his eye. He was making
And he said, "You
turkey
better
on
not
whole
marry
wheat
this
bread."
girl.
And I got in the car and I said, "Oh, I thought you were going to order because we had a chat about, how Italian
Yeah,
this place was." And needless to say, that was a deal breaker for me.
Yeah, well, I understand. Now, I will say, when I was in New York in Inwood, we didn't have anything to do Thursday night, and my wife and I went and ate at a place on the water at Rockaway Beach. We just searched it, found it, and ate there, and it was wonderful.
Yeah. There's a view of the bridge, right? The Atlantic Beach Bridge.
Yeah, we had a view of the bridge. You could see the city in the background, kind of barely. I mean, it was a good piece away, but
Yeah.
but it was
in
wonderful.
Far Rockaway, I think, right? In
Say what?
well, you don't you don't know like the geography. Far
I
Rockaway.
don't know. It was
yeah.
right there at the bridge. I mean, I was literally under the bridge. If you know where the
Yeah.
McDonald's is by the bridge, it's
No.
right beside it.
No McDonald's there.
But that was great. John, I have, and I'm going to do it just because we have it. I have here the question of the day, John, and
All right.
you've got some help on your side today because Tom Holt is an installer from way back. He knows what's going on.
You remind me of Johnny Carson and like Karnak when you put
Yeah, that's right. Then I would have to give you the answer, and you'd have to give me the question. I don't know how
Well,
that
what?
works.
Next time, let's do that. I challenge you.
Hey, you do that to me, and then I'll
All
do
right.
it the right way. That's too
All
much
right.
for me to think about.
All right, I'll do it.
So this is a question from an actual client, and some of them are funny because some people ask dumb questions. But I thought this question could go either way. So I want to see what your take is. Anybody out there that knows anything about stone installation, I'd love to get your opinion on it too. So
All right.
hope all
Hit
is
me.
well. I have a customer and contractor that installed this material, and I'll tell you what it is in a minute, on an uneven substrate, causing some areas to have an uneven and sharp edges. So they installed over a substrate that wasn't properly prepared, and so now they have lippage. The customer is wondering if it's possible to buff or polish down the tile to make it even. Is this a possibility?
So my answer is,
I haven't given you the material yet. Do you want to know what?
yeah, I'm assuming it's a natural stone. So what is it?
It is Narcissus White Thassos polished marble with mother
Metal?
of pearl insets.
Oh, that hurt. So if it was regular marble, buffing is not the right word. You literally got to grind it down.
Right. Grind and
Right. So
polish.
if you have lippage, I mean, they do that in Europe a lot, right? You go to these, they
Yeah.
install. I don't know if there's a term for that, but sometimes they install knowing they're going to come back later and grind it down and polish it. If you close your eyes and you rub your hands over the floor, you won't even know where the grout joints are because things are so smooth.
We used to do that with terrazzo tile back in the day.
That's pretty cool. So because of the addition of the mother of pearl, or if there was a metal inlay, then I'd say you cannot do it.
What is your what's your apprehension about the mother of pearl? Because of the thickness?
Well, it's delicate.
Fragile?
It's laminate. It's fragile. That's how you know it's from Italy. And it's mother of pearl. It's usually laminated on top of something else. So there's like 64th of an inch of mother of pearl.
Yeah,
and it's gonna come off. I feel. What do you think?
I agree with you. I was all for them hiring a restoration company, and frankly, I think that was my suggestion for them, is to call a stone restoration company.
Can they work around the mother of pearl? Like, I don't know where the mother of pearl was.
Maybe I don't remember exactly what the material looked like. I think it was a water jet, but
sounds like to me you gave them just a good way to get it off your lap. Call a restoration company.
Yeah. Well, it was either that or take it out and start over.
Yeah, the Johnson Disco solution way.
That's right. It's probably what the sales guy wanted me to say. But somebody that does it every day may have a workaround for that. I don't know.
Wait, but let me ask you a question. If you're putting down a floor with stone, like if the substrate is uneven, I mean, I get why that could cause lippage, but I just feel it could just be improper technique, right? Of the
I think maybe the substrate was the scapegoat. It was probably the qualification of the installer. He probably didn't know what he was doing.
Well, you know what I found? I found that installers that are highly skilled and highly experienced in not only just tile, but you don't know about some of the things that come up during the job because they kind of find solutions often. So it's the guy who's the novice who's going to blame the tile, who's going to blame the substrate. I mean, often it is the tile, right? Often it is the substrate. There's especially if you got a bad quality product, but many times the guy who knows what he's doing, he just figures it out. He kind of troubleshoots and gets it done.
And I absolutely agree, and I think that's what Tom was saying. Is it helps when you work for a good and maybe a great company, because they're going to have the quality guys. They're going to have a guy that's out there thinking about the solutions. And but
most important,
that's not your low guy.
No, but most important, Craig, absolutely paramount to all of this. And I'll use that silly example of the doctor giving you a transplant. If there's something wrong, you stop.
Yeah. Don't be afraid to don't let the schedule bully you into a mistake.
Yeah. Because then, I mean, this is advice to contractors. Then, it's kind of like, if you proceed, you're kind of accepting it. It's like if you deliver the wrong color tile, you deliver a purple tile, it's supposed to be pink or white, and you install it, and then later you complain, or if the server brings you the wrong meal and then you eat it and then say, you know what, I didn't order a burger, I ordered a steak, but it's too late, so you have to stop. Professionals will stop. Now, what really drives me crazy is a lot of these installers sometimes don't even assess the material until they show up. Like they'll bid a job, maybe they'll see a sample of a tile, maybe not, but I feel they need to really understand the project, especially if they're sending some crews down to work on it. And I find the real good guys want to know ahead of time. Like they want samples, they want pictures, they want to see what's happening, because the last thing you want to do is show up and you're not prepared. And if there's a problem, there's no time to fix it.
Yeah.
It really is.
I agree. And I guess Josh was calling out Daniel Miller. Maybe he's the guy.
Ah, really?
I don't know. But this is not why you do it, but Tom is right. Tom mentions about substrate is everything. And that's good. When I rewrote some of our install instructions, the first paragraph is about the substrate. because if the substrate is wrong, everything after it is wrong. And even though sometimes it may not be our responsibility to fix the studs of a shower or to fix the concrete that's crapped up, Tom is right. You can make money doing it. The key is when you enter into a project, know what you bought, know what the customer bought from you, be confident in that. And if they're not providing what the expectations are or what is required, offer them solutions, and sometimes that can be profitable. And
well, so think about the two paths. No, think about the two paths you can go down. You go to a job and there's a problem with the substrate. You can close your eyes and hope it comes out right, and then they complain, and now you're now responsible and trying to blame it on the substrate. And I would say, as the end user or the purchaser or the GC, say, "Whoa, you're a professional. You shouldn't have installed that. Why didn't you call? Why didn't you stop?" So now the tile has been used up. It's been consumed. Potentially, you have to rip it out. Then you have to or you could go Thomas's suggestion, and you could say, "Hey guys, we have a problem. We could fix it. We need to redo this substrate. Yeah. We could do it, and this is the price." Now here you're making money now on this new part of an add-on that you didn't initially have, and that's A. And then B, you're going to have a perfect substrate. Damn well, if you're going to be putting tile on,
that's right. If you're doing it,
you're going to do it kick-ass perfect, and that's pretty. I mean, you don't go into a job anticipating that because your schedule is going to get all effed up. But if you need to, but that's the true test of a professional. Just close your eyes or make money and make the job turn out properly, and you'll get hired.
I'll add another one to that, John. Is there's a C personality. The guy that gets out of his truck, sees that it's not right, and just leaves and doesn't say or do anything. I've known contractors like that, and I'll be honest, my stepdad was the best cabinet maker I ever met, and he would do that.
Really?
If he walked into a home to build a staircase, he'd do it all by hand, and the painter left a bucket in the middle of he would just pack up and go home. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? But don't be that guy either, because it's a symbiotic relationship. We've all got to work together. The owner, the general contractor, and all the contractors. And if you treat everybody with respect, it's a whole lot better to work out the problems, and a lot less likely you're going to end up in court.
Tom's going to start something here. Make mud walls great again.
Make mud walls great again. I like that. And hey, you can't beat the accuracy of a mud wall. I don't care. I don't know about your foam and all that other stuff. If you know how to do a mud wall, that's
very intimidating. I've seen it done, and I
can't do it. I mean, look at me. Of course I can't do it. I can't do it. I mean, I'm sitting here in front of a computer, but I'm good at that.
Well, you know what? I think we've talked about, and we've proven that tile is a great superhero, right? And
I wish I had superhero music. I don't think we have any superhero music.
Yeah, I was thinking Rocky. That's not superhero, but I was thinking.
That's definitely not it. That could be superhero-ish.
Yeah, I like that. What's that called?
That's called rock. I mean,
okay.
Let's get the lead out. Let's
sound like Smoke on the Water or something. That was pretty good. Well, this has been a good chat. July. Oh my God, I was going to say July 20th, June 20th. Wait, 20th. When is summer?
I mean, summer's here, friend.
I think it's tonight, tomorrow. Right?
Oh yeah, the solstice is tomorrow, the 21st. Yep.
Yeah,
21st. Hey, did you know there's a building in Philadelphia at the solstice? They have triangles cut into, like, I forget what you call it, the whatever sticks up above the roof, and on the solstice it shines perfect diamonds on the side of a building.
Shine on crazy diamonds. Hey, folks.
If you're in Philadelphia tomorrow, you go downtown and you can see that building. I'm sure there's a certain time. I don't know the time, But get on the double-decker bus, because that's what I did. They'll tell you about it and get off there and watch it all day.
I could see you being the perfect tourist. I love it.
I am a nerd, and
I love it.
If I can, I love learning stuff. And
I was in a church in Bologna, and inside this church, the roof was like 5-6 stories high, and literally there was like this pinhole in the ceiling. And they figured out, like, when they designed this building, the light shines through, and it was like a calendar on the floor. It was like this big marble inlay of like the months, I believe, and
that's not right. That's right. That's Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah,
I think that's that movie.
Yes. Never mind.
No, it probably is.
Yeah, no, I did. It's pretty crazy. The shit. I mean, we have kids now going to school, and they're like trying to, you ask them a question like, how many are in a dozen? They're like 20. And meanwhile, back then they were doing buildings.
That's
like,
right.
Like, just like astronomers and shit.
Based on the cycles of the sun, and and now they can't read cursive.
Yeah, exactly. that is crazy.
Well, John, like you said, it was a good conversation, and
good talking to you.
I look forward to next week. Next week we're gonna. Are we talking next week? I know you've got.
So next week I'm going to be at a factory. I'm going to be at a sustainability conference talking about sustainability of tile. So I'd like to focus one of our episodes on that. And if we can make the logistics work, maybe we can get some content that we can utilize for that night.
Okay.
Yet to be determined. I have to see the lay of the land. So we'll figure that out. So we'll leave everyone hanging. We'll figure that out. I think the week after
we'll have something at 8:00. It may be pre-recorded. It may be just me playing clips of John walking through a factory.
May very well be a Yule log.
That would be nice.
We should do that
one night.
On July 3rd, Tuesday, July 3rd. Let's just do a Yule log and let it burn.
We'll just do. I'll download some fireworks clips.
There you go.
Independence Day.
Good idea. Well, folks, this is John Tedisco. I'm really glad that you're here. I'm really glad that you tuned in with us. If you're watching this now, since we're ending, and you're watching this as an encore, rewind, playback, please still chime in, give it a like, say hello, let us know where you're from. Tune into our next episodes. It's really fun that you're here, and we appreciate you. So I'd just like to wish everybody peace, health, and happiness.
Absolutely. I second that. Roberto, I would love to talk about porcelain countertops. I get questions about that a lot. So let's stay in touch. You know how to get up with us. And I hope everybody enjoyed the conversation today. It was fun. Tile is a superhero. In my opinion, it is the best building material. And I've seen a lot of them, and I've seen a lot of them fail. Not many of them I see last. A finished material last over 100 years.
That's true.
That's why we keep learning together. And I forgot what I was doing because I got excited.
We'll crank up the rock music and you'll make it look like it was all planned.
That's right. We keep learning together and we tile the world.